9 programmers mocked a delivery girl, but what she revealed in front of the CEO was life-changing. Jessica took a deep breath as she stood in the bustling lobby of the tech startup, her apron slightly stained from the food containers she balanced. Today was just another day, delivering lunches to the same arrogant programmers who never missed a chance to belittle her. "Look, the delivery girl's here," one of them sneered, and the laughter echoed like nails on a chalkboard. They didn't know the weight she carried, the legacy of her grandfather, a brilliant engineer now fading away under the shadow of illness. Each jab cut deeper, reminding her of the dreams she held tightly, dreams that felt a million miles away. Still, she was determined. Jessica had been taking late-night coding tutorials, scrawling notes, and poring over screen after screen in the dim light of her small apartment. Here, amid plastic food containers and gossiping programmers, stood a woman whose potential simmered beneath bruised skin and hidden dreams. She wanted to prove them wrong, to show them that being just a delivery girl didn't define her worth. As she pushed through the office door, the chatter grew tense. The CEO was about to unveil an innovative project, and Jessica held her breath. She had been the invisible thread in this tapestry, but when she caught snippets of the programmers' conversation about the new app, her heart raced. They were discussing a concept that felt hauntingly familiar, a mirror of her own secret work. The frustration and indignation soared, igniting her spirit like a wildfire. Before she even processed it, Jessica stepped forward, throat tight with emotion. "Actually," she said, her voice steady but uncertain, "I've been working on something similar." The room fell silent. The laughter evaporated into disbelief, eyebrows raising as they absorbed the bomb she just dropped. "Are you kidding?" one of them scoffed, a flicker of his previous confidence fading. But Jessica was on fire. She spoke passionately, laying out the framework and technology that could push their company forward. Her ideas chimed with her grandfather's legacy, pulling from the depths of her struggle and sacrifice. This was more than just software, it was a dream taking shape right before their eyes. Tension radiated through the conference room, as the once overloading programmers squirmed in their seats. Jessica was dismantling the very hierarchy they had relied on. "You think success is limited to titles and positions? You look down on me without even knowing my story." Her heart hammered, but her fists tightened in resolve. "Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen." "Now let's continue." Jessica's voice resonated with unyielding energy, pulling personal stories from her heart and touching on themes of sacrifice and resilience that echoed in the room. She stood for more than herself, she embodied every unnoticed talent waiting to be seen. The atmosphere shifted as programmers exchanged glances, their bravado dissolving into respectful silence, but just as hope dangled in the air like a beacon, the CEO's conflicted eyes met Jessica's. "What if we partnered?" His voice was heavy with implication, suggesting the change they all needed but hinting at the fallout her confrontation might bring to those who had scorned her. The question hung there, sharp with potential and peril, and beneath it lay Jessica's biggest fear. As she looked at the programmers who once taunted her, she faced the breaking point of her ambitions. Would she climb toward her dreams by standing alone, or could she lift others with her? This moment was teetering on the edge, the future uncertain, but one truth remained painfully clear: Jessica was about to forge a path toward transformation, both for herself and those she dared to challenge. Jessica's heart raced, not just from the intensity of the moment but from the possibilities unfurling before her. She had never envisioned standing in front of the CEO, articulating her ideas in a room full of programmers who had once dismissed her. What hung in the air was a mix of excitement and fear, like standing at the edge of a diving board, unsure if she was ready to leap. The programmers exchanged doubtful glances, clearly taken aback by what Jessica had just proposed. Their previous jokes seemed distant, like echoes of a bygone era that no longer held sway over the current reality. She could almost see the cogs turning in their minds, the realization dawning slowly that she wasn't just a delivery girl, she was a potential partner in their next big project. The CEO leaned forward, intensely focused, like a hawk locking onto its prey. "I'm intrigued," he said slowly. "But tell me more about your project. What makes it different from what we're already doing?" Jessica swallowed hard. It was now or never. All those nights spent coding and the endless cups of coffee fueled by determination surged through her as she spoke. "Think about user experience," she said, her voice gaining strength with each word. "I've designed a system that not only enhances communication but learns from user behavior. It adapts, growing smarter with every interaction. It's not just a tool, it's an experience." The silence encapsulating the room felt electric. Jessica could sense that her words were landing, sparking curiosity where there had once been disdain. One of the programmers who'd been particularly harsh, a tall guy with a beard she'd often seen laughing at her expense, shifted in his seat. The transformation in the air was palpable. Could she actually convert these skeptics into allies? "But how will we know it works?" another programmer chimed in, skepticism still lacing his tone. "It sounds impressive, but pitching ideas is easier than executing them." Uncowed, Jessica leaned closer, her determination buoying her confidence. "I've already built a prototype. I've used it in a small community project, and the feedback was overwhelmingly positive. I can show you how it functions right now." The murmurs of doubt mixed with intrigue. She could feel the skepticism slowly melting away, replaced by curiosity about her work. They had always dismissed her as just the delivery girl, yet here she was, offering a boon of knowledge and innovation. The CEO gestured for Jessica to present her prototype. An opportunity had cracked open before her, and she had to seize it. She opened her laptop, and as the screen lit up, the room shifted into a different zone. She was no longer just a peripheral figure, she was in control. With every click and every explanation, excitement filled her voice. She watched as the programmers leaned in, their rapt attention shifting from their previous prejudices. Her fears were being transformed into a powerful energy, fueling her to push through. But just as she was about to dive into the practicals, the CEO raised a hand. "Sure, let us explore this. But remember, if we were to take this route, the stakes are high. You'll be under scrutiny, and these guys will expect results. Are you ready for that?" The reality of that statement settled like a weight on her heart. Would she be strong enough to face the challenge? Could she really transform not just her life, but the lives of those around her? Jessica took a breath, her mind racing with the implications. There was still a mountain to climb, and it wouldn't be easy. But in that moment, she felt a fire igniting within her once more. "I'm ready." And just like that, the tide turned. As the meeting shifted to her prototype, Jessica couldn't shake the sense that the response of her former mockers would shape her path forward. Would they become the support system she never knew she needed, or would doubt still linger even in her success? Just as preparations began for the prototype demonstration, Jessica felt a sharp jolt of anxiety. What if they all turned against her again? Would she be alone fighting for her place in this world of tech giants, and could she ever forge alliances that truly uplifted her? The answers loomed on the horizon like dark clouds, pressing down just as much as she pushed forward. But she had to find out, even if it meant risking everything she'd built so far. And that uncertainty lingered heavily as she prepared to show them her vision, one that could change everything. Would they welcome her, or would she stand alone once more? Jessica's fingers hovered over the keyboard, a rush of adrenaline coursing through her. She could feel the weight of the moment pressing down hard. The faces peering at her, some skeptical, others intrigued, were the very same ones that had laughed at her, dismissed her ideas before. Now, they were waiting, and she had to deliver. Taking a deep breath, she clicked the first button. The screen blinked alive with her prototype. It was vibrant, colorful, full of life, just like the community project that had birthed it. She could almost taste the excitement hanging in the air as she introduced the features, her voice steadying with passion. "Here," she said, pointing at the interface, "users can customize their experience. The more they interact, the better the system understands their needs." She moved through each feature, demonstrating the seamless flow. Each click on the interface felt like a solid affirmation, a stepstone toward her goal. She glanced over at the tall programmer with the beard. His expression was different now. No longer was he rolling his eyes or whispering to his buddy. He was watching intently, his brow furrowed in concentration, as if he was seeing something he hadn't known was there. Jessica continued, her words flowing faster now. Imagine deploying this across multiple platforms. Not only does it streamline communication, but it can also predict user behavior and offer solutions in real time. We're talking about adapting on the fly. The room buzzed with a palpable energy. The CEO leaned back, nodding slowly, a glimmer of appreciation in his eyes. That's what we need. But let us consider scalability. How do you plan to handle growth? Her heart skipped a beat, a familiar wave of doubt crashing over her. I've outlined a few strategies. We can integrate cloud services for larger data handling and improve AI algorithms as our user base expands. It's life, it's growth, and it evolves with us. Laughter broke out suddenly, not the jeers of the past but a mix of genuine amusement and surprise. You really thought this through, the tall programmer admitted, a faint smile breaking his serious demeanor. Jessica felt the corners of her mouth lift. She was surprised at how easy it was to share her vision, to connect with them on this level. It felt as if they were no longer just colleagues, they were collaborators now. But a part of her couldn't shake the old fears entirely. With every encouraging nod, her adrenaline pulsed harder. What if it was all just smoke and mirrors? What if they still saw her as the delivery girl? As she wrapped up the presentation, she noticed the CEO's gaze sharp like a focused beam. I want this to move forward, but it won't be without challenges. I need to know you're committed, Jessica. Are you prepared to lead this project? The moment hung heavy. She wanted to scream that she was more than ready, but the gravity of his words sent a chill down her spine. Could she really step into such a bold role? Jessica felt a wave of vulnerability crash over her. I am ready. I promise to put in the work. But more importantly, I want to work with this team. I need their genius. Together we can make it happen. Faces reflected a mix of admiration and surprise. It was like a shared understanding sparked among them, weaving through the doubts that once separated her from their world. The CEO smiled, almost approvingly. Let us take the next steps then, but remember this is going to be a marathon, not a sprint. Are you still up for it? Yes, she replied, clarity ringing in her voice. But even as she felt the rush of accomplishment, another thought brewed in the back of her mind. Would her newfound allies stay true to her, or was this merely a fleeting moment of camaraderie? As the meeting drew to a close, Jessica couldn't help but feel the weight of expectation settling on her shoulders. She had crossed a line, and everything after this would be both thrilling and terrifying. The door swung open, inviting her into the uncertain territory of collaboration, and just outside, the world awaited her next move. Was she truly ready for what lay ahead, or had she just taken the first step onto a path that could lead to her biggest failure yet? She paused, realizing the stakes had never been higher. And as she walked out, another voice in her head whispered, what if this was just the beginning? The hallway felt both constricting and liberating as she stepped out of the conference room. Jessica's heart raced as the weight of what she had just committed to settled in. She had opened herself up, not just showing them the product but allowing them a glimpse into her dedication and ambition. Would they still respect her after this? The world outside was loud and bustling, filled with the usual hum of office life, distracting her from her swirling uncertainties. She took a moment to breathe deeply, letting the air fill her lungs, trying to steady her racing thoughts. Faint laughter echoed nearby, a reminder of the jovial atmosphere she had hoped to cultivate. But what if it was just a facade? As she headed back to her desk, she noticed the tall programmer with the beard moving toward her. Young and rugged, he typically carried himself with such confidence, but today there was something softer in his demeanor. Hey, Jessica, he called, catching up to her. Can we talk? A small knot formed in her stomach. She couldn't tell if it was anxiety or anticipation. Sure, what's up? I just wanted to say, you really nailed that presentation, he said, rubbing the back of his neck awkwardly. I mean it. I didn't think you'd pull it off like that. Jessica smiled, her heart warming a bit. Thanks. That means a lot coming from you. He shifted his weight, looking her in the eye. I've let my biases cloud my judgment before. I didn't give your ideas a fair shake. But this changes things for us, doesn't it? Absolutely, she said, almost breathless, searching for the right words. I really believe we can make something special together. A glimmer of enthusiasm sparked in his eyes. I'd love to be on board. Trust me, though, we can help refine this even more. Let us crush the doubts together. His offer resonated with Jessica, and for the first time, she felt more like a partner than an outsider. But an unsettling voice in her head reminded her that trust could be fragile. Did she dare to let them in, and more importantly, could they stand by her through tough times? Just then, her phone buzzed on her desk, pulling her out of her thoughts. A message flashed on the screen, an invite to a meeting about refining her prototype further with the CEO and the development team. This was it. Momentum was building like a wave crashing toward the shore. Where's that meeting? The programmer asked, looking genuinely interested. Right in my calendar, starting in 15 minutes, she replied, her pulse quickening again. I guess I'd better prepare for more feedback. Let us strategize together then, he suggested, an eagerness lighting his features. We could brainstorm on how to really enhance the user interface. As they made their way back to the conference room, Jessica's heart surged. It was like stepping back onto the stage, but this time with a teammate. They discussed ideas and bounced thoughts around, and despite her earlier doubts, uncertainty began to fade with each shared insight. But just as excitement built within her, an all-too-familiar concern crept in. If they worked together, could she trust that the others would take her seriously? What if the moment they faced a setback, the camaraderie shattered like glass? As the meeting commenced, Jessica found herself seated at the head of the table, a palpable energy hanging in the air. She looked around at the faces watching her, faces she'd once feared. They were no longer skeptical. They were curious, even ready to charge ahead. Would they help bolster her when the inevitable challenges arose? Or was she destined for another wave of unexpected disappointment? The moment felt pivotal, and with the long road ahead, assurance slipped through her fingers. She couldn't shake the question looming larger than ever. Could true collaboration redefine her journey, or was she merely on the brink of another uphill battle waiting to unfold? As the discussion began, she could feel eyes on her, and with every word, she prepared to navigate the dynamics of her new role. What she desperately needed was not just the assurance of her team but a clear signal that she had truly begun to forge her destiny. But deep down, another thought lingered. Was this moment enough to show them the depths of her potential and the dreams she'd been hiding? A small smile crept across her face. She was ready to face it all, but the uncertainty loomed ever closer. The meeting room was buzzing with energy, flickering lights overhead casting a warm glow on the faces gathered around the table. Jessica took a deep breath, feeling the weight of their anticipation. This was her moment, not just to present but to truly connect. She shifted her focus from her own racing heart to the faces of her colleagues, searching for any flicker of skepticism that might linger. All right, team, she began, her voice steady, thank you for being here. This project isn't just a product for us, it's a manifestation of our collective vision. She could feel the strength of her opening, and it fueled her resolve. The programmer beside her leaned in, silently urging her on. With a small nod, she mirrored his enthusiasm. I believe we can enhance user experience to levels no one has seen before. But I need your insights. Let us shape this together. As she spoke, she watched their reactions. No longer were they the distant, intimidating figures. They leaned forward, engaged and curious about what she had to say. I've been working on a few interface ideas, Jessica continued, pacing slightly as if to physically shake off her nerves. She unveiled mock-ups, her heart racing as she displayed each bold idea. Imagine a seamless transition between screens, intuitive navigation that guides users instead of confusing them. It's about simplicity while retaining depth. The CEO, a thoughtful man in his late 50s, nodded slowly, his gaze fixed on her with unyielding focus. She caught one of the developers whispering something to the woman across from him, whose face lit up with excitement. That looks incredible. she exclaimed, leaning over to get a closer look. How did you come up with this? Jessica felt a rush of warmth at the unexpected praise. I wanted to think about users, what they want and need, she replied, a note of passion creeping into her voice. This is about empathy in design. At that moment, something shifted. The atmosphere transformed from a rigid critique to a collaborative brainstorming session. Ideas flew back and forth, and Jessica felt like she was finally part of a team. Their laughter and genuine exchanges filled the room with a sense of belonging she had yearned for. The earlier doubts began to fade away with each shared laugh and nod of approval, but then Jessica remembered the haunting question: that fragile trust. Could this last? A frown creased her brow, momentarily clouding her focus. I hope this vision resonates with everyone, she said, tentatively seeking reassurance. Jessica, this is more than resonance, the programmer beside her interrupted. This is groundbreaking. You've changed the game here. An unexpected warmth spread in her chest. But just as Jessica began to settle into the positivity, a familiar unease crept back. What if they backtracked when they didn't get the results they anticipated? As the team wrapped up, she sensed the energy shift again. The CEO stood up, his gaze sweeping across the room. I want to thank everyone for their input today. This is more than a project, it's the foundation for something bigger. His eyes locked on Jessica, and she felt swallowed by his intense scrutiny. And Jessica, he continued, your commitment and vision have opened new doors for us. I expect great things moving forward. Her breath hitched in her throat, disbelief mingling with exhilaration. The moment felt monumental, her fears of inadequacy fading under the spotlight of collective support. Yet uncertainty lingered in the corners of her mind. As they filed out, the programmer turned to her. Ready for the next steps? We've got momentum now. Yeah, I am, she replied, a smile breaking across her face. But beneath that smile, the question still loomed. Would she be able to maintain this newfound trust when roadblocks appeared? She could feel the skepticism stirring within her like a specter waiting to resurface. Before she could respond, her phone buzzed again with a new notification, a reminder about the upcoming product launch meeting. Anxiety tightened its grip. Was she ready to step into the spotlight once more? Or would the ghosts of her past re-emerge to cloud her vision? What lay ahead? Would the waves of this shared journey bring her the clarity she sought, or was she building a castle in the air that could easily crumble? Jessica couldn't shake the thrill from the meeting. The energy had been electric, a spark that lit up the room and ignited something deep within her. But weariness gnawed at her spirit as she returned to her desk. The looming product launch was just days away, and between the endless meetings, design tweaks, and impending deadlines, a familiar knot of anxiety began to tighten in her stomach. She scrolled through her emails, her mind racing. The team's newfound enthusiasm was encouraging, but how could she ensure their commitment wouldn't just vanish when the pressure hit? What if their excitement faltered under tight deadlines or unexpected challenges? It was a tightrope walk, and she was afraid of falling. Hey, you okay? A voice broke through her thoughts. It was Mia, the graphic designer, leaning against the cubicle wall. Jessica forced a smile. Yeah, just thinking about everything. Mia raised an eyebrow, her expression shifting to concern. You know we're all on your side, right? That meeting went amazingly well. I know. It's just she hesitated. What if it was all just a moment? I can't help but wonder how long this excitement will last. Mia stepped closer, her voice softening. That's natural. But look at how far you've come. You led that conversation. You got us all to see your vision. That's not just a fleeting moment, it's the start of something big. Jessica nodded, absorbing Mia's words, feeling more grounded. Their camaraderie was palpable, an invisible thread of support woven through the busy atmosphere. But self-doubt still lingered in the shadows, beckoning her to retreat. After a moment of silence, Mia suggested, let's grab coffee. Talk through the launch plan. Sometimes it helps to bounce ideas around with someone who gets it. Yeah, coffee sounds great, Jessica agreed, grateful for the distraction. They made their way to the cafe. The aroma of freshly brewed coffee mixed with the sounds of hushed conversations and clinking mugs. As they waited in line, Mia filled the air with hot gossip from the office. Jessica couldn't help but smile, laughing at the antics of their colleagues. Yet, beneath it all, she wrestled with her unease. Shouldn't she be able to stand firmly in her success? It shouldn't rest on an unstable foundation. What if the responses to the product weren't as exhilarating as the meeting? While Mia chatted about upcoming vacations and weekend plans, Jessica's thoughts drifted back to the potential fallout if things went wrong. With their coffees in hand, they settled at a small table. The vibrant chatter around them felt distant as Jessica's thoughts ran wild. As she took a sip, a few words slipped out, unplanned but bursting forth in a wave of fear. What if I fail? Mia paused, setting her cup down, her expression sincere. Failure? Everyone faces it. But think about it this way: every setback is just a step toward growth. It's how you learn and adapt. No one expects you to have all the answers, Jess. Jessica felt a flicker of reassurance from her friend's words. I just want to prove that I can do this. That my ideas weren't just fleeting. You're not alone. We want you to succeed. You have a team ready to back you up. They discussed the upcoming challenges and tasks, and slowly, a new sense of purpose began to settle in Jessica's heart. After finishing the coffee, she returned to her desk with renewed determination, ready to tackle the remaining hurdles. But as Jessica opened her laptop, a notification lit up the screen, a message from the CEO. Let us meet tomorrow morning to discuss the launch and your vision further. Her breath caught in her throat. Was the expectation now higher than she anticipated? With shaky hands, she typed a quick acknowledgement before standing to look out the window, feeling the weight of possibility and pressure press against her. Was she ready to rise to the occasion, or would the ghosts of her past return, threatening to undo all the progress she'd made? The moment felt precarious, and she knew the stakes had changed. Tomorrow could redefine everything, but was she truly ready? The morning light filtered through the office window, casting a warm glow on Jessica's desk. She stared at her laptop, the blinking cursor mirroring the racing thoughts in her mind. Today was different. Today could change everything. Her heart raced. It was just another meeting, yet it felt monumental. Would she build upon the excitement from before, or would it crumble under the pressure? She could almost feel the weight of her own expectations pressing down harder with each passing minute. As she straightened her desk, her phone buzzed with a reminder about the meeting. A quick glance revealed it was only 20 minutes away. Her palms turned sweaty, and she took a deep breath, trying to steady her nerves. How could she turn the energy of that last meeting into concrete action? Okay, Jess, you've got this. She muttered to herself, wrapping her fingers tightly around her coffee cup. The rich, dark brew felt like a comforting embrace, a reminder that she was alive, that she could persevere. Mia peeked around the corner of her cubicle, a playful grin lighting up her face. Nervous about the big boss? Jessica nodded, feeling herself relax slightly with her friend's presence. A little. I just want everything to hit the mark. This is my chance to shine, Mia. You will, Mia said, full of encouragement. Just remember everything you put into this. You know your stuff. Trust your instincts. Jessica gave a tight-lipped smile, aware of how hard it was to fully embrace that trust. Moments later, she made her way to the conference room. The walls felt like they were closing in, the air heavy with anticipation. She could see a few of her colleagues sitting at the long table, faces a mix of curiosity and concern. The CEO, Greg, entered, commanding the room's attention with his confident stride. He glanced Jessica's way and nodded. Let us get started. Jessica, would you like to kick us off? The room went silent. All eyes were on her. Jessica cleared her throat, the sound echoing like thunder in her ears. Yes, thank you for the opportunity. She stepped forward, feeling the need to project strength. We've been working hard on this product, and I'm excited to share our vision. As she spoke, her words began to flow more naturally. The passion she felt during that first meeting began to surface, grounding her in the moment. The slides presented her concepts clearly, outlining the strengths of their product and how it would meet customer needs. But there was a twist she wanted to unveil, something that would not only capture their attention but also solidify her place in this project. This isn't just about the product. It's about creating a community, connecting people in a way that brings real value to their lives. She paused for effect, allowing her words to sink in. We want to give our users more than just features. We want to give them an experience, tailored to their unique needs. The room erupted in murmurs, her colleagues glancing at each other with intrigue. Grep leaned in, his eyebrows raised. I like where you're going with this, Jessica. Tell us more about the community aspect. Jessica felt a rush of energy. She hadn't anticipated this level of engagement. As she elaborated, her ideas sparked conversations around the table, igniting a collaborative atmosphere. The fear that had once felt so heavy began to dissolve, replaced by a shared excitement for what was coming. But just as she was warming up to the discussion, a message dinged on her laptop. The chatter fell silent as everyone noticed. She glanced at the screen. It was an email from a former boss, one who had never believed in her. The subject line read, "You're not cut out for this." Cold dread swept through her. In front of everyone, the weight of that past failure loomed large, a specter of self-doubt that had haunted her for years. Taking a deep breath, she fought to keep her resolve. Could she set aside that old wound and show them the leader she had become? As fast as it came, the fear faded. She thought of the team, of the support they offered, and the vision she had fought for. She glanced back at Greg, who was observing her intently. Jessica? Greg prompted, breaking through her thoughts. What's on your mind? With renewed focus, she straightened her shoulders, holding his gaze. I believe in this vision, and I believe in myself. I want to let my past dictate my future. The room erupted into applause, colleagues cheering her on. The thrill of victory danced in the air. But as the applause faded, Jessica realized that her journey was far from over. Could she truly continue to build on this momentum, or would past insecurities pull her back once more? As she looked into the faces of her team, she felt the fire ignite within her once again. This wasn't just about the meeting, it was about redefining her future. And tomorrow, unwanted ghosts might just show up at her door again, challenging her resolve when she least expected it. What awaited her after this moment of triumph? The day after the meeting, Jessica arrived at the office feeling buoyant. The applause from yesterday still echoed in her mind, a sweet reminder of her potential. She walked past her colleagues, greeting them with a newfound confidence. Today, everything felt possible. Mia was at the coffee machine, pouring herself a cup. She glanced up, her eyes sparkling. There is something different about you today, Jess. Did they run the applause on repeat? Jessica laughed, the joy bubbling up inside her. Maybe. I just feel. I don't know, lighter? Like a weight's been lifted. Good. You deserve it. What's next? Mia nudged, her curiosity piqued. Jessica paused, thinking about the conversations that had been sparked in the meeting. I actually want to take those ideas further. We need to build a prototype for the community space, show them how it can bring everyone together. Seems like you're on fire, Mia said, grinning. As Jessica transitioned into her day, she poured her energy into every task, her mind racing with creative ideas. But with each hour, that initial thrill started to chill just a bit. She couldn't shake the nagging thought that her past criticism was lurking just beneath the surface. The email played in her mind like an unwelcome melody. Later, while reviewing drafts, an unexpected knock on her office door broke her concentration. It was Greg. Do you have a minute? Of course. She motioned him in, her heart racing again. He took a seat, leaning forward with a serious expression. I was impressed with your presentation yesterday. I've been thinking about what you said, the community aspect. I want you to lead a small team to flesh this out. Jessica's heart soared at the opportunity. Really? Wow. I mean, yes, absolutely. I'd love to. Greg smiled. I knew you had it in you. But I also want to make sure you have the support you need. This isn't just about the product, it's about a new direction for our company. His words filled her with both excitement and anxiety. The pressure was on now. Thank you for the trust, Greg. I won't let you down. As he left, Jessica felt butterflies in her stomach. Her mind raced. Who should she take on her team? What resources would she need? Just as she was diving deep into those thoughts, her phone buzzed again. Another message that it was a text from her mother, just checking in. Heard you did great yesterday. Proud of you. That warmth filled her heart. For all the support she had at work, it was her family who always lifted her up. But right beneath the warmth was that nagging feeling. She could already feel the pressure building. What if this all went south? Jessica tossed her phone aside and tried to refocus, but as she glanced out her window, she noticed dark clouds rolling in. It was a stark contrast to her mood. It was hard not to think of the storm building in her mind, too. As the day wore on, she gathered her thoughts for the plan. Team brainstorms, role assignments, and a timeline flashed through her thoughts. But then, right when she felt she had clarity, that email popped back into her head. You're not cut out for this. Could she truly prove that voice wrong? The heaviness of that doubt loomed large, a constant whisper nudging her to play it safe. Just as she was about to lose herself again in the noise, Mia popped in with a coffee mug in hand. Crisis in here? Not yet, but I'm starting to feel a familiar tension. What if I can't pull this off? Jessica admitted, the insecurity creeping back in. Mia tilted her head, her brow furrowed. Hey, remember what you said during your pitch? It's about the community. Lean on them. Build them up, and they'll build you up. Jessica nodded, the reminder settling in her heart. You're right. I can't let one negative voice overshadow what I can do. But it still feels so daunting. Mia smiled gently. And you're not doing it alone. You've got a team now. With that encouragement, Jessica felt a hint of hope flicker back. She had a chance to create something transformational, something that truly mattered. As she left the office that evening, her pulse quickened at the thought of all the possibilities. But just outside, her phone buzzed fiercely in her pocket again. This time, it was an incoming call from her former boss. Her heart dropped. Why now? What could they possibly want? Could this phone call threaten everything just when she was starting to believe in herself? She glanced back at her office, thinking of what was at stake. Moments away from answering, she hesitated, uncertainty wrapped around her like a tight coil. Could she keep her courage steady when faced with the past? The call went silent, but the tension in Jessica's chest refused to ease. She took a deep breath and finally swiped the green icon. Hello? Her voice trembled under the weight of anticipation. Jessica? It's Lisa, her former boss said, the calm tone chilling her nerves even further. I wanted to check in after yesterday's meeting. Hi, Lisa. It's great to hear from you, Jessica managed, her heart racing. The last time they'd spoken, her world had crumbled. She had left the company feeling defeated, the sting of criticism still fresh in her mind. I've been thinking, Lisa continued, about the project we worked on. It had potential. I believe our path diverged, but I think we can make it work together again. Jessica's mind whirled. Did she really just hear that? A chance to reunite? But how could she go back to the hurt? I appreciate the offer, but I'm Jessica, Lisa interjected firmly. You have talent, and I know it's been hard since you left. But this is about more than the project. I'm reaching out as a mentor. Let us put the past behind us. Jessica's heart raced, a mix of confusion and hope battling within her. She felt the stirrings of ambition clashing with the shadows of doubt. Could she trust Lisa again? I need to think about it, Jessica replied carefully, trying to maintain the momentum she had just built at her current job. I'm leading a team on a new initiative that's really important to me. A silence lingered. When Lisa finally spoke, her tone softened. I just don't want you to limit yourself, Jess. Opportunities come and go, but you should never doubt your place in this field. You belong here. Those words pierced through Jessica's defenses, igniting a glow within her. Maybe she could embrace her talents without the weight of past failures dragging her down. Thank you, Lisa. That means a lot. As they wrapped up the call, Jessica hung up feeling both exhilarated and terrified. The irony hadn't escaped her. She had been given a chance to reinvent herself just when she was finally rising above her insecurities. But the question remained, could she truly balance this new hope with the fears lurking in her mind? The next morning, she sat down at her desk, running through her notes for the project. Team names bounced around in her head, but there was something more pressing. It was about the direction and vision. Could she trust her instincts to lead? She reached out to Mia, seeing her friend at the coffee machine again. Can we brainstorm names? And maybe missions for the team? Absolutely. Mia replied, her excitement electric. But also, are you going to call Lisa back? Jessica felt her pulse quicken. I'm not sure. It could be a great opportunity, but I doubt myself every time I think of returning to that situation. Mia poured her coffee, then turned to face Jessica, eyes narrowed with understanding. You've grown 2 sizes since you left. If you decide to move forward with her, do it on your terms. You're not that same person who walked out. That realization stirred something fierce within Jessica. You're right. This could be the stepping stone I need to get this community space off the ground. Excitement danced in the air. They spent the next few hours tossing ideas around, building layers upon Jessica's vision for the project and envisioning how it could become something beautiful. Just then, her phone buzzed. It was another text from her mother, sharing an article about women leading innovative community projects. Jessica chuckled and felt her heart warm. The battle within her softened as she took a moment to appreciate the layers of support she was building: the team, her friends, family. They all fueled her ambition. Jessica picked up her phone to draft a response to Lisa. But before she could send it, a shrill email alert drew her in. It was from Greg, a meeting request for everyone involved in the community project. Her heart dropped once again. Would Greg unveil her anxieties now? Taking a deep breath, Jessica straightened, fueled by the spirit of her earlier conversation. She was at a crossroads, with opportunity beckoning on all sides, yet the storm of doubt remained. Could she brave that uncertainty, step into the meeting, and own the path ahead? The clock ticked as she prepared, every second pulling her closer to the unknown moment that would either define her or shatter her new foundation. How could one decision change everything, just like that? As the clock ticked down, Jessica stood in front of the mirror in her office restroom, steadying her breath. Today was the meeting that could make or break everything, the culmination of her dreams and hard work. She splashed her face with cold water, trying to wipe away the lingering doubts. You got this, Jess, she whispered, staring herself down. No more looking back. The room filled quickly, her colleagues bubbling with excitement, fueling her resolve. As Greg entered with a warm smile, Jessica took her seat, glancing around the table. The energy pulsing in the room felt electric. Everyone was ready to engage and ignite her vision. All right, team. Greg began, clapping his hands together like a conductor initiating an orchestra. Today, we are here to discuss the community project led by Jessica. She's done exceptional work thus far. Every ounce of anticipation converged on her. She felt their eyes approach her, not with mockery but with genuine curiosity. Jessica stood, her heart racing, every ounce of fear eclipsed by the weight of expectation. Thank you, Greg. Hello everyone. Her voice rang out, clear and steady, surprising even herself. I've been envisioning this project not just as another product, but as a lifeline for our users, melding technology with human connection. The room buzzed with approval, nodding heads encouraging her to continue. With each word, Jessica felt free, shedding remnants of the delivery girl's shadow. She detailed her concept, a community-driven app, where users could share, support, and problem-solve together. She laid out the potential impact on their user base, highlighting the benefits of cultivating a deeper connection within tech. You know, chimed in Mia, this has the power to break barriers. We aren't just building software, we're creating friendships. Laughter erupted, cutting through Jessica's tension. A familiar warmth filled her chest, she could see her vision resonating with those around her. As discussion began, hands flew up, ideas and suggestions swirling like a dance. The initial doubts that had once haunted her began to fade as partnerships formed through genuine enthusiasm. A great weight lifted from her shoulders. They weren't just colleagues, they were friends in an exhilarating journey ahead. But then, clear as day, that nagging image of her former boss flickered back in her mind. Would Lisa be right? What if all of this was fleeting? That question crept in, but Jessica shook it off. We're not here to doubt our capacity, we're here to inspire, she reminded herself. Suddenly, Greg interjected, Jessica, any thoughts on how we can kickstart this? Feeling the warmth of their support, she responded with newfound clarity. Absolutely. Let us host a community forum, engage users, and gather insights directly from them. It's not just about data, it's about heart. As she spoke passionately, everyone began to scribble down notes, excitement painting the atmosphere thick. This was at the pivotal moment she had been yearning for, where her voice mattered. Yet just then, the door creaked, and her heart skipped a beat as Lisa walked in, a calm aura about her. I caught wind of this meeting and couldn't resist, she said, her expression unreadable. The room fell silent, eyes darting between Jessica and Lisa. Jessica's stomach nodded. This was it, the ghost of her past had arrived. I hope I'm not interrupting, Lisa continued, her tone encouraging. I actually believe in your vision, Jessica. I want to support you moving forward. Time stood still. Jessica searched through the penetrating gazes around the room as she felt Greg's curiosity linger on her. In a surprising twist, she felt her doubt crashing against the tidal wave of opportunity. I appreciate that, Lisa, she replied, steadying her voice. But I'm moving forward on my own terms now. The tension snapped, an unspoken understanding brightening the atmosphere. I'm grateful for the lessons I've learned, but this is about my own journey. A genuine smile crossed Lisa's face, that old rivalry morphing into respect. Then let us reshape this industry together, shall we? Laughter rolled through the room, breath lightening, and Jessica felt liberated. This was no longer a fight against her past, it was about building a future rooted in collaboration and innovation. As the conversation picked up momentum, Jessica fully emerged into her role, ideas flowing seamlessly. The rich synergy of the moment surged through her, illuminating the path ahead. Minutes turned into hours, yet no one wished for time to stop. While discussions unfolded and plans solidified, Jessica glanced at her team, sharing laughter and camaraderie. Her heart swelled. The dream she had envisioned was alive and pulsating, stronger than ever. Finally, Greg wrapped up the meeting. Let us dive in, create something transformational here. With collective spirit and resolve, they began finalizing roles and organizing the next steps. As she walked out, Jessica knew she was stepped into something greater, not just a project but a community spirit. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a warm glow through the window, Jessica felt the full weight of what she had accomplished. She had transformed not only her life but redefined the dynamics of her workplace. Every step forward ignited a flame within her, illuminating her journey. Leaving that meeting room wasn't just leaving behind doubts, it was embracing everything that had once felt out of reach. As she exited the office that evening, Jessica held her head high, her heart bold with a new vision. She was no longer the delivery girl, and she would never look back. Now was the moment to step into her future, using every lesson learned to create something beautiful and enduring. Everyone had their own stories, their struggles, but together they would weave a narrative that shined brighter than her past ever could. With determination swelling within her, she smiled. This was just the beginning, and she couldn't wait for what lay ahead. You need to subscribe now to this channel so you don't miss out on the next powerful stories. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and keep these transformations coming. Comment below your thoughts and feelings about this ending. Your voice matters. And share instantly with at least 5 friends who need to see this kind of uplifting journey. Don't wait not even one more second to share. Only true fans truly understand how important it is to support the channel through these actions.